We'll start with some quarterbacks, Tom. Talk to us about Derek Carr. So a shoulder injury, saw some things that he was fine after testing, but what's going on with Derek Carr? What can we expect going forward?
It's a shoulder and a concussion, and the reports out of New Orleans are that it's really more the concussion that's the problem. But we need to remember that Carr has already dealt with an AC joint injury on the throwing shoulder earlier this season. So this new shoulder injury just kind of adds on to that, but they do have the bye week coming up. So at the moment, there's really no concern for his shoulder going into week 12. Now, we know concussions, average return to play is 16 days. We've seen a lot of guys this year. It takes 2 or 3 weeks for them to return from that. Again, they have the bye coming up. So definitely possible for him to clear the concussion protocol before the next game. And we'll check in on him again next week.
All right. Sounds good. Well-timed bye for them. From an NFL, forget the fantasy aspect. I mean, Derek Carr is QB 19 right now, which is not good. But even from an NFL and real life perspective, he has not been good. I mean, I watch a lot of these Saints games. I mean, games, I have implications there, in fantasy and in betting or whatever. All the guy wants to do is check down to Kamara, and Kamara's been excellent. Guy catches 1 million passes a game, but at least at this point, the Saints are 5-5, still in first place in the NFC South, which is crazy to think about. But Carr, in terms of the league, is 29th in ADOT. So that's average depth of target. I mean, he's only thrown 10 touchdowns, so he's struggled, even with some freaking awesome weapons, man. Guys got Michael Thomas, obviously Chris Olave, Shaheed is a deep threat. The Saints defense, I guess, has been good enough to carry them, Tom, but Carr, I feel like, is not doing good enough. This is a team I could see sneaking into the playoffs because they have a good defense and, they've got some pieces there, but Carr's got to do more. And we'll leave off here with, if Winston, Tom, plays in by this week, week 12, I mean, I'm hoping for it because it's just so much more fun. I think it's a huge bump. I mean, I think it's a huge bump to Olave, to Shaheed. We'll talk about Thomas later, but I mean, wouldn't you rather see Winston back there just like for fun and for fantasy and for every purpose? Like,
for pure entertainment, absolutely. The world is better when Jameis Winston is playing football and just being himself with absurd throws that sometimes go for touchdowns for his team and sometimes go for touchdowns for the other team.
It's true. He's just so much fun to watch. I just want this offense to open it up more. And I think a lot of that falls on Derek Carr. Again, he goes so quickly through his reads, and then he just wants to check down. And again, that's great for Kamara, but it's been hurting some of these other guys. Now, Chris Olave, as we wrap up here with the Saints talk, he stepped up recently. Me and James have a bet that he was going to be, for some reason, we came up with a weird number, top 13, I bet. James has been texting me all season. Olave stinks. Olave, wide receiver 30. Sneakily now, wide receiver 15. Now he's going to have a bye, going to drop down a little bit, but I'm pulling for Winston to play. No offense to Derek Carr. I do hope he's healthy, but I do like to watch the Saints a lot more when Winston plays. So we'll monitor that after the bye. Michael Thomas, a knee injury. I read, hopefully I can read well this time, Tom. I read that it was fairly significant. What the heck does that all mean?
They haven't told us. So there's a lot of tissues in the knee that, if injured, it could be a fairly significant injury. I don't know if that means he's going to need surgery. It certainly could from those words. But the thing is, they're on their bye this week, so we're not going to get reporting from them probably until next week, unless he undergoes surgery, which I don't know that that's going to happen. I'm just saying that that's probably the only way that we would hear any reports before next week, simply because they're on a bye.
All right. And Michael Thomas, when he has played, only scored double digits, half-point PPR once this year. So again, Saints are on a bye, but if he's going to be out for a while, I mean, listen, the combo of him possibly, who knows, like you said, with all these tissues, missing time, and maybe Jameis Winston, Chris Olave, that guy is going to eat, man. I cannot wait to watch that happen, and I hope it does happen. But, we do also hope for the health of others. I'm just rooting for Chris Olave. All righty.